Have you seen a custard tart so wobbly on Instagram or everywhere else and thought to yourself, I wouldn't mind a bit of that wobble in my life? Well, stick around. I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful lemon cardamom custard tart that is absolutely wobbly and delicious, all in a beautiful sweet short crust pastry. Also, I have some news that I will reveal at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that one. Okay, if you consider subscribing to this channel, that would be amazing. Does a lot to blow up this channel and take us to the next level. Appreciate all of you that have done so far. Right, let's get our wobble on with this tart. Let's go.
Okay, pour 300 milliliters of heavy cream into a deep saucepan like this with 700 mils of full fat milk. Crush in 5 cardamom pods, and then we're going to grate in the zest from 1 lemon. Get that on the stove, and this is an optional step, but you can grate in some nutmeg. I like it because it's a nod to the original custard tart from England, so it's my way of paying tribute to that. Okay, generously grate that in, give that a mix through, and we're going to infuse this milk cream mixture. Once it comes up slightly to temperature, like to the boil like this, turn off the heat, cover it with cling film, set it aside and let it infuse for 1 to 2 hours. 1 hour, I think, is pretty good. And then we're going to strain that off, and you've got a beautiful infused cream milk mixture. Now, you can put any kind of stuff in this if you like, but this is a good base for this. Cover this with cling film and just set this aside. What we want to do is kind of keep this warm. You don't want the skin to form, so make sure the cling film is touching the top of that mixture. So we're going to roll out 500 grams of our sweet short crust pastry. I have a recipe for that on the website. I'll leave a link at the end of the video. You're going to press it down like this using your rolling pin to get a nice even flat surface. Turn it a couple of times and then just keep rolling, starting from the top and the bottom. Work your way until you get it about 2 to 3 millimeters thick, kind of like about a quid coin kind of thickness. If you get any bits like that are just ripping, just push them together. No need to worry because we're going to trim this later. Get yourself an 11-inch tart pan, put it in the middle, lift it to the side like this, and that lets you know that your pastry is big enough. Trim off a few of those little bits of excess round like that, and this will kind of give you a rough round circle. Then we're going to gently just roll this one last time like that. Little bit of flour over the top just so the rolling pin doesn't stick. Roll this backwards, and then we're going to lift this up and gently put this into our tart pan. Now the trick here is to not have any air pockets. So what you're going to do is you're going to lift the pastry. You don't want to rip it here, so just lift it and let it drop naturally. Then use your other hand and push it into the corners. You can use a bit of the offcut of pastry, go all the way around and press it firmly against the sides. There you go, nice, gently pressing it in. Now trim off some of the pastry, but leave yourself about a 2.5 inch overhang. Press it back in again around the sides, and if you've got any holes at this stage, you can just seal them with a bit of your leftover pastry. It's a bit like putty. Then you're going to put this on a tray gently, put it in your fridge and let it chill out for half an hour. Now we need a cartouche for this, so I'll show you how to make one. Rip out a bit of parchment paper, fold it in half because it's going to be a rectangle, just trim off that scraggly end. And then you're going to have a book-like shape like this. Okay, fold it in half and then fold it again upwards like this, so that flappy bit is facing away from you. Then keep folding over to the same point. You've got a triangle right there, just flatten that out. Fold it over again, kind of looks a bit like a paper aeroplane here, keeping the same point. Flatten it out so it's nice and tight. And then you're going to take that out and you're going to basically measure it to the center with about a couple of inches overhang to your tart shell. Cut the end off like this, and if you've done it right, it should be a lovely round cartouche like this. I like mine a bit bigger, plenty of room to play with. Now here's a little tip. Get it, scrunch it all up, and it's going to be easier to put your baking beans or whatever you want to use inside. I'll show you that later. Now go around, get a fork and start pricking the base of this. You want to make sure that no air gets trapped. That's the reason for doing that. Now put in your cartouche. See, it fits in quite nicely because you've wrinkled it. Add in enough rice, give it a little tap, and then we are going to blind bake this at 375 Fahrenheit or 190 C for about 30 minutes. While that's blind baking, we're going to finish off our filling. So we're going to need 288 grams of fine sugar, and you're going to need 3 vanilla pods. You're going to cut them in half, scrape out the seeds, and we're going to put that into the sugar. Save those pods, put them in some vodka, plenty good time. Now put that sugar in a food processor, give that a nice little blitz up, and what we're trying to do is incorporate all that vanilla into the sugar, just like that. Okay, now pour that into a bowl, and we are going to mix in 6 whole lovely large eggs and 3 egg yolks. Plenty eggs in this one. Give that a nice little whisk around for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's nice and pale. You can see the color is getting nice and incorporated and fluffy and gorgeous. And then we're going to put our infused cream milk mixture into this. Now, that looks very nice. Give that a mix with your spatula just for about a minute. Make sure there's no sugar clumped at the bottom and set it aside. Now we've got our pastry that's been baking for 30 minutes. Take out your rice, put that back in for another 10 minutes just to cook some of that top. And then what we're going to do is we are going to add a little bit of egg wash at this stage to seal it. Now you'll see right there, if you see like you got any holes or anything else, this is going to help you seal it as well. So get a nice egg wash all the way around, put it back in the oven for about a minute, and that is going to seal it quite nicely. If after this stage you still see any little holes, whatever, give it a cheeky little pinch with some of that leftover dough thinned out. You're not going to notice the difference. Okay, now set that aside. Get a bain-marie on the go, so that's a nice little saucepan there with gently simmering water. Put your bowl on top and start giving this a gentle whisk around. And we want this to reach a temperature of 150 Fahrenheit or 65 degrees C. That means your custard is lovely jubbly. Okay, now set that aside, take that off the bain-marie and strain it just to make sure there's no lumps or bumps. Work it through until you've got a lovely, beautiful custard filling. Reduce the oven temperature to 265 Fahrenheit or 130 degrees C and fill your tart shell while it's in the oven like this. You can use a spoon and just block off any little bubbles that come to the top. Gently slide that in, push it back, and we're going to bake it for 45 minutes until when you temp it, it is 180 Fahrenheit also. If it goes over by a couple like that, not a problem. That is lovely, jubbly. Look at the wobble on that tart. Now, if you put this in the fridge, you're going to lose your wobble. So you want to keep that wobble. Okay, I promised you a wobbly tart and you will have one. Get a sharp knife, cut around the excess pastry like this. Just keep going and it will just come right off. Just make sure you don't get any crumbs on the actual tart itself. You can save those bits. To turn this out, invert a bowl like this, put the tart in the center, and hey presto, if you've done it right, it should come out like this. That deserves a little tart dance. Oh baby. Now take that off gently. I'm going to show you how to cut this. Get a blowtorch and a nice knife, not too nice, and then cut it from the middle, work your way down gently and hold the back while you cut down through. And if you've done it right, you should have a gorgeous wibbly wobbly tart like this. Look at the wobble on that tart. That is a thing of beauty. Let me just show you a close up. I promise you a wobble, and a wobble you shall have.
Now that is a wobbly custard tart. I promise you I was going to give you the wobble, and here it is. Lovely lemon cardamom custard tart. Let's get into this, eh? Can't wait anymore. Pastry looks absolutely amazing. Try and do this one-handed. A little bit difficult, but you know. Ooh, cheers. It is so effing good. Now you taste everything. You get the cardamom, the vanilla, the nutmeg, the lemon. Hits you first. And then you get that pastry and that lovely sweetness. But the custard is set just right. Absolutely a beautiful custard tart inspired by an amazing one that we had in Australia in St. Peter. If you know that restaurant, absolutely amazing. Chef Josh Nyland doing amazing things with fish. But he can also make an amazing custard tart. So hopefully we did that one justice. But this is absolutely delicious with all those little flavors. You can add all kinds of different things to this. Put a bit of cream on the side, a bit of sorbet. But we're just going to keep it like this today. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. For those of you who did stick around to the end, we do have some news. This is going to be the last video in this kitchen because my other half, we are moving. We are going to a different province in Canada. More on that later, but it's near some mountains. It's a little clue. So this is going to be the last video in this kitchen. It has served me well, and it was the start of this YouTube channel. So we're going to be moving to a new kitchen, which is slightly more upgraded than the one that we're in. So expect to see some new content in that kitchen. There'll be lots to show and lots more to do there as well. If you want to know where we're going, follow me on Instagram, at parmavirk, I think that's what it is on Instagram. Follow me on there, and there's a lot of different videos and a lot of little stuff that I post about where we're going and what we're doing, a little behind the scenes as well. Right, time to enjoy this. Thank you for all of you for watching and all of you that have subscribed. And if you want to see more wobbly tarts like this, then please consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell. It really helps. And I will see you in the new kitchen on the next one. Right, until then, see you all later. Cheers. Ooh, ooh. Yes, boss man. That's a wobbly tart.